Apparently, I've been very, very naughty. In a recent Nub News article, Alison Greenwood, founder and CEO of Dose of Nature, expressed her displeasure with these Pensford Field videos.
Asked if Richmond Council Watch's portrayal of the situation was fair and accurate, she added,
"Unfortunately not. The videos are full of misleading statements and misrepresentations of fact. While the Council has acknowledged mistakes in communication, the idea that Dose of Nature has acted without integrity is completely untrue."
If I had to put my reaction to that quote in emoji form, it would probably be this one. The act of acknowledging mistakes is a classic PR tactic that is used to give the appearance of contrition.
Listen, it's not been handled very well. I'll give you that. It could have been better noticed.
Zero communication was essential to carrying out this undemocratic coup, so the Trust would have no idea that its 21-year lease was about to be terminated. Had the Trust found out about the Council's intentions in advance, it obviously would have kicked up one hell of a fuss and potentially derailed the plan. Dose of Nature knew this too. It is a fact that Dose of Nature did not tell the Trust that they'd approached the Council to take over the lease. Since I'm meticulous about fact-checking what goes into these videos, I emailed Alison on the 20th of May to find out what I got wrong. I'm still waiting for a reply. On the same topic, let's take a look at this Dose of Nature newsletter that was sent out to its supporters on the 15th of May.
As many of you know, Richmond Council awarded Dose of Nature the lease for Pensford Field in September 2024.
False statement number 1. Until March 2025, we all thought that was the case, but we've known for many weeks that Richmond Council has not yet granted a new lease to Dose of Nature. You'll remember in part 3 that Tunde Ogbe told me on the 12th of March that the only decision made is to terminate the Trust's lease. The newsletter continues.
Sadly, a number of misunderstandings have led to calls for the Council to reverse this decision.
That is also a false statement. Obviously, it isn't possible to reverse a decision that hasn't yet been made. As was covered in Part 4, the decision to grant a lease to Dose of Nature is scheduled for the Finance, Policy and Resources Committee meeting on the 25th of June. I asked Alison Greenwood why Dose of Nature was making false statements in this newsletter. You guessed it, I'm still waiting for that reply too. In Part 3, I told you about obtaining the delegated decision document signed by Tunde Ogbe, and I completely missed something.
At its meeting of 4th of July 2024, the Directors' Board approved the recommendation to terminate Pensford Field Environmental Trust lease and occupation of Pensford Field, and this was subsequently considered and confirmed by the meeting of the Council's Service Chairs on the 19th of July 2024. Both boards agreed that officers should implement the action under the relevant powers delegated to officers.
So, what are these relevant powers? There are 11 of them in the Council's constitution under the section General Delegation to Chief Executive and Directors. The only delegated power that could be relevant for terminating the Pensford Field lease is this one, number 4.
To establish and/or terminate the Council's involvement in significant partnerships/partnering arrangements, following legal advice and subject to approval by the Council, relevant committee or subcommittee.
Does a 21-year lease count as a significant partnership? Perhaps. But according to the Constitution, the authority to take decisions on property matters does not lie within the general delegated powers. It lies with another body in the Council.
Finance, Policy and Resources Committee. This committee has responsibility for the following functions of the Council: property, including purchases and disposals and compulsory purchases;
This single line is why the decision to grant a lease to Dose of Nature is being brought to the Finance Policy and Resources Committee on the 25th of June. What should have set my alarm bells off earlier is the weird inconsistency that granting a new lease for Pensford Field in 2007 and 2025 requires democratic approval, but terminating an existing 21-year lease early somehow does not. The Finance Policy and Resources Committee never agreed to delegate this decision to council officers, nor did it give its approval to a delegated decision under the fourth delegated power. So, I asked the chair of the FPR committee, Councillor Gareth Roberts, and Vice Chair Councillor Nancy Baldwin, why their committee was not involved in this early termination decision. Yet again, no reply. Complete silence. All of this leads to just one startling conclusion. It appears that Tunde Ogbe did not have the required authority to terminate the trust's lease.
You have no authority here, Jackie Weaver. No authority at all.
Without the required authority, this decision document, dated the 6th of September, is invalid. This notice to terminate the lease, or in Richmond Council language, terminate the lease, issued by the Mayor on the 20th of September, is also invalid. And on the 25th of June, the Finance, Policy and Resources Committee will not be legally able to grant a new lease to Dose of Nature from September 2025 because the Trust will still be the tenant until its 21-year lease expires in March 2028. That's all for this update. Thanks very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done already, and I'll see you next time.